Welcome back to Market Headlines. So viewers, Gojek and Tokopedia are reportedly in the final stages of a merger with the valuations of 18 billion US dollar. The combinations of the two jumbo startups is reportedly called GoTo.
Gojek and Tokopedia are reportedly in the final stage of a merger with a valuation of 18 billion US dollar. The combination of the two jumbo startups is reportedly called GoTo. GoTo will provide services that include ride-hailing, e-commerce, food delivery, payments and logistics, and this is the core business of both companies. The information sources say that agreement between the two companies is targeted to be completed this month. In another report, Gojek is said to own 60% of shares in the joint entity. Meanwhile, Tokopedia controls the rest. Previously, the management outleaders of Gojek and Tokopedia reportedly agreed to merge the two companies. The next process awaits approval from the shareholders. The two jumbo startups have some of the same investors such as Google, Temasek Holdings and Sequoia Capital India. Tokopedia is also supported by Alibaba Group Holding, which also has an e-commerce unit in Southeast Asia, namely Lazada. However, Gojek and Tokopedia have not provided detailed information on the agreement. Gojek said that it would provide further information in the near future if there was a corporate action. From IDX Channel team, reported.
Even though Gojek and Tokopedia have not provided detailed information on the merger agreement, let's dig deeper about this potential. And firstly, let's check to the profile of Gojek and Tokopedia at the first graphic. Through the first graphic, we can see these two profiles of Gojek and Tokopedia. Start with the valuations that Gojek have with 10 billion US dollar, while Tokopedia has valuations of 7 billion US dollar. Meanwhile, for an industry, Gojek covers supply chain, logistics, and delivery, while Tokopedia provides e-commerce and direct-to-consumer. While for the investors, here it is. We got to see the jumbo investors for Gojek, which is Formations Group, Sequoia Capital India, and Warburg Pincus. While for Tokopedia, the investors are SoftBank Group, Alibaba Capital, and of course Sequoia Capital India. And the source revealed that the management and leaders of Gojek and Tokopedia reportedly agreed to merge the two companies. The next process awaits approval from the shareholders or the investors. For information, the two jumbo startups have some same investors such as Google, Temasek Holdings, and Sequoia Capital India. Meanwhile, the combinations of these two jumbo startups is reportedly called GoTo, where GoTo will provide services that include ride-hailing, e-commerce, food delivery, payment, and also logistics. In addition, this merger is said to refer to an IPO and the Indonesian Stock Exchange and U.S. Stock Exchange. And one of the scenarios was to combine the two companies prior to IPO on Indonesia and U.S. exchange. And of course, the merger of these jumbo startups has certainly attracted the attentions of the public, especially with the strong positions of these two entities in their respective business sphere. So let's try to review one by one from Gojek on the next graphic. Through the next graphic, we can see comparisons between Gojek and Grab, for example. From the scope of work, Gojek covers 4 countries, meanwhile Grab covers around 8 countries. And the number of downloads, people downloaded Gojek as many as 190 million times. For Grab, wins in this case by 205 million times. And Gojek has a total of driver and seller partners of 2.9 million, while Grab in this case wins again by 9 million drivers and seller partners. When we talk about valuations, Grab has 14 billion US dollars, while valuations of Gojek in here is 10 billion US dollars, still in the jumbo positions of the valuations. And previously, Gojek and Grab were even rumored to be conducting a merger. But now, rumors of Gojek merging with Grab has stopped because the conversations dragged on and eventually ran underground. And regarding business scope, Gojek, which is actually an Indonesian startup, is not inferior to Grab, where Gojek has expanded overseas. In 2018, the company expanded to Vietnam under the name of Go Viet. A year later, penetrated to Thailand with GAT. And even though at the same time it was mentioned, Grab has defeated Gojek in the online transportation sector in Indonesia since 2018. Meanwhile, in the financial business, Gojek has entered to banking by acquiring Bank Jago at the end of 2020. Gojek spent around $160 million to increase its ownership in Bank Jago to 22.16%. Meanwhile, for now, Bank Jago has transformed into a digital bank. And then, how's the positions of Tokopedia in the e-commerce business spheres? So let's check it into the next graphic. Here it is. We can see some marketplaces in Indonesia. And we bring the example of famous marketplaces in Indonesia. We got Shopee, Tokopedia, Bukalapak, Lazada, and Blibli.com. While these marketplaces have monthly web visits of millions. For example, Shopee has 129.32 million web visits for a month, while Tokopedia has 114.65 million web visits for a month. When we talk about App Store ranking, Shopee leads and Tokopedia as well. But then when we talk about Play Store ranking, Shopee has the first ranking and Tokopedia has the fourth ranking. And we talk about Bukalapak, Lazada, Blibli, the left behind from Shopee and Tokopedia. And similar WAP's research result shows that Tokopedia managed to occupy the first position throughout the first quarter of 2021. Reported by similar WAP, Tokopedia dominated around 32.04% of traffic in Indonesia in January 2021. Then the traffic share experienced a jump in March 2021 to 33.07%. Still from a similar WAP, the number of monthly visits of Tokopedia during the first quarter of 2021 stood at 126.4 million. The positions of Tokopedia was then followed by Shopee, Bukalapak, Lazada, and Blibli. And once again, e-commerce players in Indonesia have shown stiff competition. Meanwhile, if the merger is real, the question is, what digital payment platform will be used later? And before going there, let's take a look at the Daily Social's survey result regarding the use of digital wallet in the next graphic. Here it is. We can see top 5 digital wallets used by respondents. GoPay leads for the percentage of 87%. And then we go to OVO at the second place by 80% of it. And then the rest, we got Dana by 75%, Shopee Pay by 53%, and Link Aja for 47.5%. And we got the source by Daily Social ID and of course IDX Channel research. And then currently Gojek uses its subsidiary platform Dompet Karya Anak Bangsa or GoPay. It is the same with Tokopedia, which uses OVO, where OVO has been exclusive payment provider for Tokopedia and Grab. Based on the Deal Street Asia report, Tokopedia owns about 36.1% shares in OVO's parent company. And then the merger with Gojek is said to make Tokopedia have to sell its shares in OVO because Bank Indonesia regulations prohibit one company from becoming a controlling shareholders in more than one payment platform. And yes, viewers, of course, we don't just expect an increase in valuations or bigger market share from the Gojek and Tokopedia merger, but beyond that, hopefully this merger will bring greater benefits, especially for the driver and sellers partners of Gojek and Tokopedia, which in fact is one of the key drivers of these two Indonesian startups. And yes, viewers, stay tuned to market headlines because we will be right back after this quick break.